T Sports Talk Show. I'm your boy T, and as you can see, there's somebody missing. Well, one of us is not here, and that's B. He will be on momentarily. He is out in Texas playing some softball, hopefully winning some games, and apparently eating a lot of steak, which, as you should, when in Texas. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time listening to us, think about hitting that subscribe button for me. Go ahead and hit that like on the video. We appreciate it. Click the notification bell. We appreciate it all. Hit all three, please. So I'm gonna start off solo. We're just gonna jump right into some NBA talk. Then we'll get into a little bit of NCAA and a couple other stories from around the sports world. But I'll start with the NBA, and we've been covering our two teams. Obviously, me being a Lakers fan, B being a Warriors fan, and covered how they've been doing since they are jockeying for the 9th and 10th position. And last time we talked, and this is really indicative of these teams this entire season, they have been just all over the place, up and down, up and down. It's a roller coaster if you are a Warriors or Lakers fan, and they continue to do the same thing. The Warriors beat the Lakers. Seemed like that was the beginning of, the end for the Lakers and the beginning of the Warriors' ascension. So it seemed. After that game, the next 3 games, the Warriors go 1-2, looks like, and the Lakers find a way to get a couple of wins and move right back up into that 9th spot. So not a whole lot changed from that game, which again just shows how inconsistent these two teams are. The Warriors, unfortunately, dropped off the game today. Both teams have important games today, with the Warriors played against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It unfortunately took a loss in that game. And the Lakers will be, that was a close game too, by the way. Timberwolves barely got out of that game. The Warriors had a lead for I would say a pretty good portion of the game until we got into the fourth quarter. And they just they unfortunately were not able to keep that lead. Ended up losing 114-110. The Lakers have the Pacers at home, so a very important game for the Lakers as well. But here's the problem. So the Warriors dropped to 36-34. They're in that 10th spot. I believe this will be their second loss in a row. And don't look now, but for some strange oddball reason, the Houston Rockets are on a tear. They've won 8 straight games. Now, they're probably playing some of the worst teams in the NBA right now, but they're winning. And that should put a little bit of fear and hopefully some motivation into both the Lakers and the Warriors, because the Warriors, if they cannot right the ship, have it's a realistic chance that they could tie with the Houston Rockets or get jumped by the Houston Rockets in the standings, which would knock the Warriors out of playoff contention. And if let's take a look and see who the Warriors are playing coming up, and then we'll talk about the Lakers in a minute, but let's kind of concentrate in on the Warriors and their schedule. They have. Well, actually, I was talking about the Rockets. They actually played the Portland Trail Blazers tomorrow. So good luck with them losing that game after being on a heater for 8 games. So we'll see how that goes. But let's take a look at the remaining schedule for the Warriors. And the Warriors, they don't have a terribly difficult schedule coming up. They just got to find a way to get some wins. So the next game they have, actually, these games are not going to be easy because they're on the road one. And the Warriors, although better this year, aren't exactly the greatest team on the road. They'll be playing the Heat on Tuesday, and then they have a back-to-back. So they're going from Miami to Orlando against the Magic, who also is a fairly good team, meddling team, but fairly good. And then after that, they've got the Hornets, the Spurs, and then after those two, which should be winnable games, they go on to play the They go on to play the Mavericks at home, and then they'll play the Rockets on the road, which will be an extremely important game well, considering how they played these first 4 games against the Rockets, if indeed they are in a similar situation record-wise that they are right now. Now we're talking about playing against the Rockets at home, possibly giving the Rockets an opportunity to jump ahead of them in the standings. Really, it's just extremely important that they find a way to be at least 1 or 2 games over 500 these next 6. They cannot afford to duck off the next 2, that's for sure. They got to at least get one of the 2 games against the Heat and Magic. Obviously, you want to win both, but realistically, with you going on the road and playing a back-to-back, it's probably not the best situation. So if they can find a way to get one of those 2 against the Magic, take care of the Hornets, take care of the Spurs, maybe they lose to the Mavericks, maybe they don't, but they need to. Even if they lost that game and they won those 3, they go 3-1 going into the Warriors-Rockets game. They might have created enough cushion so that the Rockets are a game or 2 behind them. Currently, they're only a half game behind them. And with the game, they're a half game. They're full. I believe they're a full game behind them because I believe the Rockets are 35-35. The Warriors dropped to 36-34. So if the Rockets win tomorrow, they will move up to 36-35. Now if they win tomorrow, they're a half game back of the Warriors, which should make things very, very interesting. But definitely not a place you want it to be. And quite honestly, for a storied franchise, well, you can't even say storied franchise. I mean, if you were here, you'd probably be a little bit upset with me walking that statement back. They're not really a storied franchise. They've been a very good team over the course of the past 10 years. But for a team that has had this open window for championship aspirations, and the players getting older, if somehow, you can't find yourself at the bottom of the heap. There's no way. The Warriors find themselves out of the playoffs this year, then they might as well scrap the entire thing. I know they're committed to these guys, but anybody not named Steph Curry, they really need to strongly consider upgrading or changing this team. Klay Thompson, who will be in some contract talk this coming off season. They did find a way to get the money to Draymond Green, who I think is still a pivotal player when it comes to the Warriors. I mean, he has more value to the Warriors than any other team he could possibly go to. So I think they, if they find themselves on the outside looking at these playoffs this year, they might as well go ahead and throw it away. Trade Klay, just find ways to improve your team. And although they've done pretty well with the young guys, but let's be honest about it. I mean, the 10th in the West, they've got to find a way first to get into the playoffs. I think as a veteran team, if they give themselves that opportunity, maybe they can beat a team like OKC in the first round, although they have not had any luck playing against that team this season. Maybe they find themselves with an opportunity to play a team like Minnesota, a team that they played pretty competitively with throughout the regular season. Give them an opportunity to get into that second round of playoffs. But what can happen is they end up losing. Let's say they go 3-3. They go 500, or excuse me. Let's say they are 2-3. In these next 6 games before playing against the Rockets, they might find themselves in an enviable spot, and that's playing against us. I guess ascending somehow for some reason Rockets team that has nothing to lose, is really young and just being competitive against a Warriors team that has all of the pressure on their shoulders. So it'd be interesting to see how that all shakes out. But somehow the hoopla and the joy that came from beating the Lakers in that one game is now dissipated. And these two teams, again, it's been just a hot mess watching these teams win 2, lose 2, win 1, lose 1. I don't think I've seen. I know the Warriors had a nice streak of. I think they reeled off maybe 4 or 5 games about a month ago. The Lakers, on the other hand, they haven't been able to win 3 games in a row. I don't think all season. Now, don't quote me on that. I'm just saying that because I'm a frustrated fan. But quite honestly, it's not looked good at all. It has not looked good at all. It's been terrible. So we talked about the Warriors and kind of what we're looking for from them. And when I get B on, I'll ask him some more questions about what he's seeing on the court with his team and maybe what they can do to change or update, or where is the weakness coming from as far as why they are so inconsistent. And to be honest, we saw some of this last year where they couldn't win a home game, and maybe some of that is kind of coming to the forefront again. Let's jump over to my team, the Lakers, who also have been dealing with the same disease of just underachieving really all season. Quite honestly, they are the poster child for 500 basketball, a C student all the way through, and that's what they've been consistently doing throughout the entire season. Very similar to last season, except they can't blame it on Russell Westbrook this time. Obviously, I've had my issues with Darvin Ham and some of the coaching strategies on defense. I don't love the drop coverage. I don't love playing all these guards all the time. And but that being said, the Lakers have found a way to reel off a couple of games. So after losing against the Warriors, they did find something, and it's been okay. Honestly, I don't really know what to expect one game to the next. I just kind of have to hold my breath and hope that they can get the job done. Beating the Hawks, there was nothing special about that, but they beat the Hawks, thank goodness, and they shellacked them. So it wasn't even close. I can appreciate. The game against the Sixers was an absolute. It was terrible. Neither team looked like they wanted to win the game. The Lakers turned the ball over like it was playing like they was playing offense like there was Vaseline on the ball. Balls flying to nobody, getting tipped all over the place. Guys throwing the ball away. Just stupid turnovers for the Lakers. But somehow, and this is something I probably couldn't have said of them in most of the games they've had this season, they actually found a way to win. I mean, can I give them credit? I mean, no Joel Embiid. You've got, but you still got Tyrese Maxey out there. You still got, Tobias Harris to some extent. Of course, they picked up Buddy Hield and Kyle Lowry, but in my opinion, Kyle Lowry's washed. He's a older player. I don't think he can do a whole lot. And I would say the biggest change, or one of the greatest positives for this team, probably over the last month, has been Rui Hachimura and how well he has played. Against the 76ers, he had 14 points, 7 rebounds, looked pretty good in 24 minutes. Anthony Davis in that game he was all right. Everybody in this game was all right. I mean, I got to be, quite honestly. I mean, D'Angelo Russell broke the 3-point record, by the way, for the Lakers. I did not know that Nick Van Exel held that record. But just to give you a view on how bad this game was and how, in some ways, I'm just happy they were able to come out with a win. I mean, the 76ers shot 34% from the field. I mean, and the game was still close. And they shot 21% from the 3-point line. I mean, the Sixers were stinking it up. No wonder Anthony Davis had 19 rebounds, because all he was doing is picking up 3-point bricks. I mean, seriously. And, and on the opposite side, what did we do to assist or help keep this game close? We gave him turnovers. We committed 21 turnovers. So as bad as the 76ers were shooting, they were being pesky to some degree. I'd love to give their defense a little bit more credit, and I will give them a little credit, but there were just some unforced errors out there. A couple of plays where guys are looking to make a pass to no one. LeBron had a couple of turnovers himself where I was just curious as to why we're not just making a simple play instead of trying to do something special. And they kept them in the game. And the 76ers also beat us on points in the paint as well. And they also shot more free throws. So it was one of those games where we did everything we could to lose that game, but we found a way to win. So kudos to the Lakers for getting that done. I'm happy to see that they are at least winning 2 games in a row. They've got the Pacers, who are really gonna, I think, get at them. We've had some luck against them, played against them in the play-in tournament, so I think we're familiar with the Pacers and how to play them. I just hope they come out with a sense of urgency. It's so important that they find a way to get consecutive wins. It's something that they have struggled with mightily, trying to put wins together because, quite honestly, there's nothing consistent that the Lakers do. We play different players because we're dealing with injury. We have trouble playing. We switch up our coverages. We decide, you know what, today we're going to switch every screen and tomorrow we're going to play drop coverage. They still haven't played ice defense on pick and roll. I don't know what, I'm not quite sure defensively what the heck is going on. Probably tell I'm not a big fan of Darvin Ham. I don't see what the man is doing that's been necessarily helpful to the squad. I definitely give him credit for what he did last year. But with an entire season to work with, you would think that we would see a better showing from what we're looking at now. There was a lot of hope for this team coming into the season, as we all know, and they have not lived up to that hype at all. And then you add to that LeBron and AD have been healthy most of the time. Kind of leaves you scratching your head, seriously. But let's take a look at the remaining schedule. Let's look at the next few games for the... Yeah, let's look at the next few games with the Lakers. Let's take a look and see what else we've got coming up on the horizon here. So let's see. So tonight we got the Pacers. That's obvious, all right? So we definitely need to get a win against them. And then we got a big game. I mean, we got the Bucks at home in Milwaukee. So playing the Bucks in Milwaukee, then we're going to take on the Grizzlies. Let's see, Pacers again, the Nets, and the Raptors. So those are the next 6 games for the Lakers. We played the Pacers twice. We got the Bucks, we got the Grizzlies, the Nets, and the Raptors. So there's some winnable games here. You got to really look at the games against the Pacers and the Bucks. You at least want to win one, lose one here before you play the Grizzlies, the Pacers, the Nets, the Raptors, and try to see if you can get some wins. Honestly, with this team, one thing I saw, especially in the 76ers game a little bit, was with the reintroduction of Cam Reddish, you saw some lineups that were a little small. That's kind of, Darvin Ham is kind of known. Last year he did that a lot with Dennis Schroeder and, Russell Westbrook and Austin Reeves. He played 3-guard lineups. And we did kind of see that with Dinwiddie and, Cam Reddish and either D'Angelo Russell or Austin Reeves. And I'm kind of hoping I don't see that. I think we really need to lean into our size, although I will say we have lost, a lot of our size in the fact that Jared Vanderbilt and Christian Wood are injured. Hopefully Vando comes back soon. But I mean, with Rui and Hayes and AD, we got to find a way to have a big on the floor and try to play a little bit bigger where we can. Darvin Ham kind of kills me with those lineups, and one of the reasons is our offensive guys, and I kind of know why he's doing it, but some of our offensive guards have a lot of trouble keeping the guys in front of them. Austin Reeves has not been very good defensively. Spencer Dinwiddie has been actually a little bit better than expected. Cam Reddish has been injured, although when he was playing consistent minutes, did look like he was a pretty good defensive player. And then D'Angelo Russell, the expectation is not for him to play defense at all. There's no Laker fan or anybody else out there that's saying, D'Lo, you need to play better defense. D'Lo's out there to shoot, and he's been doing that at a great clip with the Lakers. So I don't need him to change anything. We've been getting killed on the boards, and I think a lot of that has to do with our lack of size. Also, offensive rebounds have been a huge problem, which also can be contributed to the fact that we're playing. Or we can't play as big as we would like because we're limited with only having Jackson Hayes, Rui Hachimura, LeBron, and AD. Those are the guys that got to get the rebounds for us. Once we get Vando back, that'll be great. I don't think Christian Woods is coming back this season. He's going to have some type of surgery, which probably puts him out for the rest of the season. However, I'm not that mad about that. I'm more interested in getting a couple of games of seeing Gabe Vincent if he gets a chance to get back before the end of the season. Very interested in seeing Vando back in the lineup. But getting back to that, that's those three guard lineups. Hopefully we don't see a lot of that today. I really think, we tend to struggle with finding rebounds whenever we're playing so small. And I think you need to have at least Rui or Braun in the game, although it may be difficult to find those minutes. But if you look at the game against the Sixers, Rui only played 24 minutes. Get Rui some more minutes, man. I like the idea of getting Max Christie some run, which we saw against the 76ers. And I think a little bit against the Hawks too. But, you got to find a way to keep some type of size on the court, Darvin, because we need those rebounds. And I know Rui has not been the best rebounder, so we've really been leaning heavily on Anthony Davis. But we got to find a way to match some size. And hopefully we can continue to do that or find ways to do it, honestly. So the game against the Hawks, I'll go over that real quick. Really, the only highlight from the game against the Hawks was Austin Reeves getting dunked on by Jalen Johnson. I mean, that probably was it. Jalen Johnson got up, and I'm not sure what Reeves thought he was doing. He was out there thinking he was going to take a charge on a supremely athletic 6'10 forward who literally jumped over his head and dunked the ball. I felt so bad for him. And you know what capped it off and what made it so funny was at the very end, he knew he screwed up. He knew he screwed up because when he tried to hold his position, you can watch the replay. All he saw was Jalen Johnson coming towards him, and the first thing you saw Reeves do was do one of these numbers: is drop his head to the right. Oh no! I can't go out like that. It's one thing to get dunked on. It's another thing to get nutmeg, man. You can't let that happen. And he almost got it. I'm talking stake to the forehead. But he ducked just in time, did catch the contact and go to the ground. He'll probably remember to never do that again. Austin Reeves is a great player, has good foot speed, but is not a jumper at all. And in his attempt to take a charge, he almost got. He got dunked on, bro. It was rough. I'm not even gonna try to play that off. It was rough. So let's actually take some time to talk about D'Lo and kind of his run around the league a little bit, and the fact that I think it's a big deal that D'Angelo Russell comes back to LA and breaks the single season 3-point record. I mean, of course, everybody knows that D'Lo was drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers. He played with that team that the last Kobe years, which was him and Julius Randle was another. I believe Larry Nance Jr. They had some young guns that were there that were up and coming, and it was sort of on that back end of Kobe's career where he was injured most of the time, played a few games here and there. Really, wasn't a consistent on the court guy at the time. So it's kind of cool to see D'Lo come back and make his presence known in a Los Angeles Laker uniform, and to be honest, has put himself in the position where at this point he is and deserves to be the third best player on our team. Now we can try to talk mess about him or inconsistently or lack of being able to play defense or whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day, dude can shoot. He can handle the ball, he can score, he can finish around the rim. Can't take that from him. And he's a guy that's really done a hell of a job of just being able to, I'm talking, get up there and make and hit them open shots. And can get on a heater. He's a guy that can put up 20 points in a hurry. And has been great at being able to spread the floor for us, which we have desperately need. The fact that he's broken the a 3-point record that was held by Nick Van Axel almost, 97, 94 or something like that? 20 years or almost the 30 years lets you know that the Lakers have not been a very good 3-point shooting team. Seriously, not at all. And so to have him on our team has been a huge asset to us. And so I'm glad to see that he's made that turn. There's been a lot of talk about his inconsistency, but if you look at what he's done for us offensively, just by being able to knock down open shots, he's spreading the floor for everybody. So for AD, Braun, Austin, you name it. Without him in that role, the guy's playing on ball as a point guard, but he's also done a great job playing off ball, makes some great cuts to the center of the floor to get easy buckets. He's done a great job, really just going at the opposing point guard and creating shots and shots for other people. So kudos to D'Lo for breaking that record. Hopefully he continues to stay in the Lakers uniform and keep pushing that record forward. I had my doubts about him, and there was a lot of press about him possibly being traded at the trade deadline at the beginning of this season. So to see he's still in a Laker uniform is awesome. And just the fact that he's been able to play consistently. There was some news about, the fact that he did not have the greatest relationship with Darvin Ham, and maybe that led to some discontent. But since then, man, he's really picked it up. And I think D'Lo is one of those players who has to have some joy when playing the game of basketball. And I think when he was in a situation, like any other human being, when he fell down and didn't feel like he was going to get consistent minutes, they benched him at one point. There was very little trust from the coaching staff in D'Lo. He didn't have it. He didn't have it. But when he got back into that starting lineup, he just kind of threw caution into the wind and just started balling out. People forget. I mean, this is a good sized at 6'4" point guard who can handle the ball and score at all three levels. Now, he has zero athleticism, couldn't jump over a quarter, but he can score around the rim, and he can knock down mid range. And as he's shown this season, he can most definitely knock down 3-point shots. I'm curious, what's his? I'm gonna look up his 3-point percentage this season because I'm not sure exactly what it is. I thought he was shooting somewhere in the range of 38 or 39%. So this season, why are you making me do all this? I just want to see for this year. There we go. Yeah, he's shooting almost 40% from 3-point line. He's among the better players in the league when shooting from three at 39% from the 3-point line. So that's pretty darn good. Let's just put it this way: the Lakers gave him a player option, a player option for next season. Best believe he will be opting out of this contract and forcing the Lakers or another team to pay him more, based on his showing on the second half of this season, for sure. And then before I move on from the Lakers here, I talked about it earlier. Defense is garbage. I mean, hot trash. Luckily, our offense has been playing well, but the Lakers' defense is garbage. They're trash. They're terrible. They can't keep people in front of them. We give away so many open threes. It's ridiculous. The guy in the corner, he don't even need to move. He can just stand there. He's going to get as many open shots as he wants because we play some type of stupid defensive scheme where the guy that we're not good at cheating. We cheat off of guys from one pass away. That's number one. We're not good at being in the gaps early and then quickly retreating to the 3-point shooter. So, for instance, I got the ball at the top of the key. Okay. I beat my man going right, but my help is also to the right. So one is the understanding of the ball defender to know, hey man, the help is to your left. Get him to go left so that we can help. And then the second part of it is the guy that's supposed to be in help coverage is in some weird place where he's not ready to be there to one, stop the drive and then cover to the shooter. And they do this all the time. The Lakers, look, we're not good at recovery if we got to scramble. If we got to scramble on the defensive end, we're toast. Our rotations are, not rotations at all. We just got guys getting lost. Ain't nobody rotating. Guys just standing there. I've seen multiple plays, and I hate to pick on LeBron, but LeBron has had multiple plays where Bron is in no man's land. In no man's land, I mean just below the baseline, the baseline, and somewhere in between that and the 3-point line, he's just kind of there. He comes down and makes kind of like this false step towards the driver, and one pass away, they can't seem to figure that out. He keeps coming off the guy in the corner to come help, and the idea I would think would be to have AD come and help clean that up at the rim, and then have the weak side defender come in to take away that pass to the man in the dunker spot. But the Lakers have yet to figure any of that out. They're right now, the best they can hope for is that you miss. That's it. That's their defense. The Lakers defense is we hope that you missed a shot. And then we'll take it and fast break it down the other way or whatever. Now their offense is picked up. I can't complain too much about that. And you know, really what I want to talk about is the fact that they are desperately in need of the services of Jared Vanderbilt, who was a ball stopper last year. And once he got his legs under him this year, earlier in the season, did the same. He's a guy that could guard at three positions. He can guard two. He can kind of guard ones, but he can guard twos, threes, and fours. And he's a guy that was out there guarding Steph Curry last year in the playoffs. He's a guy you can put up against Tatum, Jaylen Brown. He's a guy, SGA, with Oklahoma City. He's that dude. And right now they need a guy like that they could put on the best player for the other team, or at least be disruptive on the defensively to make the other team think about the fact that you're playing defense. Make the other team feel like, you know what, we better make sure that we execute properly. Because right now, the Lakers aren't doing any of that. So the idea that Jared Vanderbilt will come back by the end of the season is absolutely incredible. I hope that they get him back in time so he gets a couple of games under his belt so that he can, make an impact as they go into the playoffs. If they happen to find out of the play-in, which I find that's probably not going to happen. The way they've been playing, in order for them to get to that 7 seed, they need to go on like a 5 to 6, 7, 8 game win streak. But they will not be able to do it if they continue to win 2, lose 1, or win 2, lose 2, or win 1, lose 1, which is what they've been doing for the better part of this entire season, honestly. So, still waiting on that. Other than that, there's been, AD, I think, has been playing well. Don't have any complaints against him. He's being asked to do a lot on the defensive end, seeing as how most of the guards are getting blown by. And the coverage that they play, that stupid drop coverage, they're not coming out and fronting with the big to try to, and then, front and recover. Like you see Draymond Green do a game in and game out, where he's out there in the 3-point line, pushing the guard further out and then retreating back to his guy and recovering to either block the lane for a pass to the big or just getting back to his man. The Lakers are still struggling with that. Again, defensively, we're not it. So let's jump out. Let's talk about something else. We're going to stick within the NBA, though. Did anybody see the Edwards dunk? The Edwards dunked all over the Utah Jazz's what's that man first name? James Collins, Anthony Collins, something like that. I don't know if it really matters what his name is anymore. All he's known for now is being the dude that's getting dunked on, and what has to be one of the most ferocious dunk of this season, and one of the biggest dunks I have ever seen. Hopefully you haven't seen it. If so, go take a look. Ant Edwards rises up from right about the dotted circle, a little bit above, and just explodes all over my man. Just dunked all over him. No respect for him at all. Disregard for his own health and the health of the dude that was just pretty much getting murdered under the rim. And then proceeds to bust his offhand. He dunked it so hard. Somehow, I don't even know how he hurt his hand. Meanwhile, Collins is, and this one makes it worse, right? It's one thing you get dunked on, right? Like for instance, Reeves got dunked on. He got dunked on. But for him to get dunked on, John Collins, there we go. For him to get dunked on, John Collins, and then to proceed to lay there on the floor in agony with the injury, just makes it look that much worse. It's like somebody uppercutted you. You know what I mean? It's like in a boxing match when the dude catches you with the knockout shot, you just go fall into the ground. It's one thing to get dunked on, right? You get dunked on, people ooh and ah, even your own teammates cover their face because they don't want to laugh at you or make you feel stupid because you just got you got yacked on. They come over to you. They say, hey, come on, let's keep playing. Your teammates pick you up. You get back in the game. But if you lying on the floor writhing in pain after getting dunked on like that, your teammates can't even help you. All they can do is stand around you and wonder if you'll ever be able to play another NBA game again. I mean, that was ferocious. That was crazy. And Edwards has been known to do that. He actually almost got AD in the game against the Lakers. He tried him. He didn't get it, but he tried him. But man, that was a heck of a dunk. Remind me of that Blake Griffin dunk where Blake Griffin did that against everybody. But he had one first one against Pau Gasol where he literally jumped up, just threw the ball down through the rim. And that's exactly what Anthony Edwards did. And, you got to think about, like, where does that rank, amongst some of the better dunks that I've seen. And there haven't been that many great dunks. There's been a few great dunks this season. But we had two of them on the same night. Jalen Johnson on Reeves, that was a great dunk, even though Reeves stupid trying to catch a charge. Collins even worse because he jumped. So when you jump, you know what's gonna happen. If you jump and get dunked on, you're going to go to the ground, but you're gonna go to the ground out of the air. It's different. Reeves he took it full face. But he fell down on his back. I was taking the screen anyway. Or charge anyway. I knew it was gonna fall. But when you're Collins, you go up there and realize you ain't got it. You know what I mean? You ain't got it. And you're looking at the defender all over you. And you fall out the air on your back and start grabbing your face like somebody hurt you. And Edwards walks off the floor and something wrong with his hand or whatever. But man, that was a crazy dunk. And I'd love to hear from y'all. What are some of the best dunks that y'all seen this season? I think those two are the best. I mean, as a Laker fan, the one against Paul George a little earlier in the season where Bron went coast to coast was cool. But Bron got a few bullets left. He old, but he got a few bullets left to dunk on people. But yeah, if there's any dunk that you could think of, some you've seen this season that has been that nasty, let me know. Because in my opinion, that was crazy. That was crazy. All right, well, let's move on. We're going to talk a little bit of March Madness. I've been trying to keep up with March Madness. When I say try, I mean, look, folks, these games come on during the week. And I know a lot of folks, and I remember being in the office where people was watching the games on their computer, on their cell phone or whatever, throughout the day while at work. I'm not capable of doing that. So I try to catch the games I can watch. One thing I did get to see Oakland upset Kentucky. And I thought that was that was a good game. Well, I'm from the city of Oakland. So, how can I not root for a team named Oakland? Now, it's not Oakland, California, obviously. It is Oakland somewhere else. But it was a great game to watch. An upset of number 3 Kentucky, who Kentucky every year, we're talking top recruits. Talking, this is one of the best organizations or programs in the NCAA, and for them to go down, that was awesome. Especially the way it ended out. It was a close game down the wire. That team kept hitting 3 after 3, and that's what you have to love about the NCAA tournament is you could watch as much. I can't, I don't know how people watch all this NCAA basketball honestly before we even get to March Madness. And everybody's got their favorite or maybe their alma mater or whatever. But, man, you get these teams that come out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And it's just like, who? What? And it just goes to show, at the collegiate level, there's two things going head to head. You've got the talent, versus the experience. And oftentimes you end up in a situation where you have these teams that have the experience. They played together for a couple of years versus teams like maybe Kentucky or some of these other high-ranked teams who are throwing teams together with talent. And maybe, they're talented, but they haven't played together very long. So they play against a team that's locked in and, it's a one-game playoff. Anything can happen. And so that's, they end up getting knocked off. And I think that was probably the biggest upset. We had Yale. Whoo! It's a smart team right there. Yale beat Auburn. Actually, they're playing San Diego State right now. What's the score on the game? Let's see. Let's take a look. Yeah, 13-3. They'll probably get smacked by San Diego State. San Diego State is pretty good every year. But but hey, Yale got their little upset, man. That's all you need is just a little light when it comes to the tournament. So I'm curious if how folks brackets are holding up. I didn't really do one this year, but I feel like you could pretty much pick whoever you want, any team, and you might have a chance at a perfect bracket because you never know what's going to happen when it comes to the NCAA tournament. It's a mess. It's a lovely mess, a mess that we all can appreciate. Because again, it has that feel, that one game, that single game elimination. You've got the darling, the Cinderella teams like I just talked about, like Oakland University, who pops up out of nowhere, and you're like, well, who? Oh, I don't even know who these guys are. I have no idea who these guys are. But one thing I want to talk about, we're talking about one of the better players on that Oakland University team, and that was Jack Golke. I hope I'm saying his name right. 3-point assassin out there looking like old school. What was it? Jimmy Fredette. Just out there knocking down big shots, doing this thing. But what cracked me up, man, is I'm looking at this dude. He's taking free throws in the last game. They lost to NC State in the next game. Watch this guy take free throws, and I couldn't help from notice a familiar look, a familiar, setup. Okay, on the face, and most specifically the hairline. I'm gonna bring up a photo for y'all right now. Look at this. Look at this guy's hairline. I mean, that is classic, right? That's classic. That's like, I could name 25 different cartoons or characters with that particular hairline and with the hair too. But there's one character that came to mind the most though. There's one character when I looked at it, I said, who he reminds me of? It's Vegeta, man. It's gotta be, right? If I could just make the picture bigger. Tell me that's not him. Tell me that's not his hairline. That's it, right? That's it. Look, hold on. I mean, he's rocking the Vegeta hairline. So no wonder he had a great game. I mean, he's imitating one of the best anime characters of all time. Look at that. Look at that. Name another grown man rocking that hairline. I mean, that's legit, man. That's legit. I gotta give this guy credit. I mean, you're gonna rock that hairline because most guys, their hairlines start getting like this. They start cutting their hair down low. They start trying to hide it. Maybe you go bald a little bit. You're trying to do something to make up for it. But no, not these gentlemen. These two guys are rocking that hairline with class and style. I mean, this is freaky. Look at it. How did he do that? That's great. So I give my hats off to this guy. Rocking the Vegeta hairline, knocking down threes, going all types of Super Saiyan for a team that nobody's ever heard of, beating Kentucky of all. Seriously, that's a huge win for Jack Golke. I mean, come on, man. That's incredible. That's incredible. And I hope people remember that too. I mean, you got to be remembered by something. There's going to be draft time, and maybe this kid gets a chance to. How old is he? He's 24. Gets a chance to go into the draft. I'm going to move myself front and center. I thought B was going to make it, man. It don't look like he's gonna. I don't think B's going. B is actually he's eating steak right now. He told me before the show, they found an all-you-can-eat steak buffet, which sounds a little sketch, but he's in Texas, so I'm just going to roll with that. You know what I mean? And he said it was Brazilian steakhouse, so, they line it up. It's all roasted. They just cutting it off of the thing. So, I could see how that could be all-you-can-eat buffet-style type situation. So, we just going to sit here. We're going to hope that B don't get sick from no old cow meat. He's going to be okay. And he'll be back. Folks, if you got anything for me in the chat, let me know. I'd appreciate it. Join me. Anything y'all want to talk about NCAA wise, Let me see who's on the board. So we got Yale was down 13-3. It's now 12-17. So they're trying to make their mark. Looks like Houston is up 9 points against Texas A&M, so they may go ahead and punch their ticket through. And yeah, there's nothing to see here. Iowa State and Illinois. Okay, so that's all most of our top folks are Elite Eight. And we got now, folks, I haven't looked at the women's bracket. Not even going to sit up here and try to pretend like I know what's going on in the women's bracket right now. I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. But if you'd like to tell me, go ahead and join the chat. I'd be more than happy to let's do it. Let's see, we got Sweet 16 coming up here. NC State, Marquette beat Colorado earlier. I don't see that as a surprise. Dookie, always in it. No Mike Krzyzewski, no problem. How the hell you say his name? And Houston and Texas A&M. Who else you got? Purdue, Gonzaga. Okay, Gonzaga in the Sweet 16 for the 20,000th time. North Carolina, no, I mean, come on. Most of these teams, Arizona, Tennessee, I mean, yeah, kind of used to seeing most of these guys. So I think the lowest remaining seed with an opportunity to do something big is, let's see, we got Texas A&M. Well, it's NC State, looks like. NC State at 11 is the last one. So I think this might be the year. This might be a year where we lost a couple of number ones. Right? Nope. No, we didn't. No, they're all there. Purdue, North Carolina. Great game against Michigan, by the way. North Carolina. Did they play Michigan? Yeah. Well, they sent Tom Izzo home crying. Yeah, Houston, Purdue. Who else is number one? Yeah. Yeah, so all the number ones are here. This may be that year where we get the number ones in there. Maybe this will be a 1-1-1. We'll see. I missed a 1. 1-1. 1-1. That is in the Final Four. We will see. All right. Well, folks, I don't got anything else for you. If there's anything y'all want to cover with me, anything you want to go over or go through, let me know. I don't want you guys to forget, this guy's hairline. Like I said, has to be the most awesome thing I've ever seen. The fact that he's rocking that thing with pride, that's awesome. Anyway, if there's anything you guys want to drop in there, let me know. Be happy to go through it or discuss a topic that you're interested in. Otherwise, I'm going to head out of here. I'm going to call B and tell him what happened. Are you still eating steak? I asked him to save me some, but he's in Texas, so the idea of bringing it back to me, I'm not even sure. We'll see how his stomach is tomorrow morning. He's out there playing softball, so wish him luck. I'm hopeful. Hopefully he's winning. I hope he won. I hope he didn't go to a steakhouse after losing. Or maybe he did. I don't know. All right, folks. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. If there's anything y'all want to drop in the chat, please do. Otherwise, it's just me talking to myself. At least doing the best I can here. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification button. Like the video. I know this was a solo show, so it's a little bit out of character for us. But I'm doing the best I can. All right? And, yeah. You guys have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go get some dinner. And B apparently still eating dinner. So I'm going to give a mess about that. Oh, man. All right. Well, y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to sign out. Peace, y'all. And I think I said it earlier, but go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Or just like the video. That helps us out a great deal. Also, hit the notification bell. Or just slap all three of them. We appreciate that. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Good night.